Hey everyone, it's Reed Schwartz here with the TimeHack Agent Podcast, where we talk about how you can grow your business using artificial intelligence, proven systems, and virtual assistants. And today I have Chris Treese here with me to share a little bit about his business and how he has grown it and some of the systems he's learned to use and put in place, including, I believe, virtual assistants. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, So you are in Springfield, Missouri.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I am out here in Washington State, up about an hour north of Seattle. So what's the weather like back?
Here today is about 79 degrees. We've got a cold front coming in, so it'll get down a little bit chilly this weekend. But I'm actually headed to Montana on Monday, so I won't be here to enjoy it.
You're still in summer. We've cooled down a little bit here. It's been nice and sunny, but we were down at 36 degrees the other morning. I was like, I usually go for a morning walk every morning, and it was like, that's a little chilly. I'm not used to I'll get acclimated to it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, we're still pretty warm. We won't drop off until November, probably.
Yeah, I like about December is time to go somewhere south around here. I prefer Mexico.
Mexico sounds great that time of year.
Absolutely. My wife and I spent 5 weeks in January down there a couple of years ago. Good thing to make a habit out of, trust me.
I'll have to do that. I've never gone for that long. Usually 10 days is about as long as we've been.
That was the longest we've done, and it was life-changing. It was pretty amazing. So Chris, tell me about your business. What's your business here?
Yeah, so I run Olympus Outdoors. We do outdoor living spaces. So we do covered patios, outdoor kitchens, pavers, fire pits, pretty much anything in your backyard you can ask for except for pools, which hopefully we'll get into next year.
You do wood-fired pizza ovens?
I do.
Oh, good. Okay. I've built a few of those myself in my previous career. So how long have you been in business?
So I've been doing this since 2014.
You've been at it for a while?
Yeah, I've actually been doing construction for 22 years. I started with my dad. And then I started my own thing in 2014.
Kind of did a different kind of construction with your dad? Was that more home construction or?
So he was a lot like most contractors getting started. You know, we built a lot of fences, a lot of decks, but then we'd take anything we could to stay busy. And then I did that all through high school and a little bit through college, went and got a degree in construction management. Actually went into the sales world for a little bit after that. I was the number one sales guy in my company 2 years in a row. And when I applied for a promotion, they said, wait until you're 30. And I was like 23. So I came back here, started a construction company. And I've always loved this. Construction's always had my heart. I've always said I wanted to own my own business. I love the roller coaster that is this thing. We've been at it for a while and I wouldn't change anything.
What drove you to specialize in outdoor projects?
So two things. One, nothing is more challenging than a project that is in someone's home, super invasive, especially if they don't work and they're there and they're just being inconvenienced over and over and over for months, no matter how much you try. So that was very tiring and trying on me. But then two, I just like this stuff. You know, a lot of what we do, I guess most of, if not all of what we do is all fun money. No one's saying, man, that window's been leaking for 2 years. I got to replace it. My roof got hit by hail. I got to fix it. It's usually guys saying, man, I wanted this freaking awesome grill and a 75-inch TV outside and a fire pit and just a place to go hang out. And so that's kind of when I started really niching down, I wanted to find something that not everybody did. So I didn't want to do kitchens. I didn't want to do bathrooms. But then also, I feel like in society a lot today, the person who gets overlooked is just the quiet dad who doesn't make a bunch of noise. He goes to work, he provides for his family, puts his kids through school. And I wanted to celebrate him. We took that as an idea and started, and it's done really well for us.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before I got into real estate, 15 years ago, 2009, I decided to build my first wood-fired pizza oven. I actually put mine on a trailer so I could take it around different places and did farmers markets and stuff. But I always loved outdoor kitchen. I'm a chef, so I love being outdoors. So I love that. That would be fantastic.
Well, when you're ready, we'll come to Washington. I've got some buddies up there. So
all right, sounds like a plan. You've been in business for a while. So as you've grown your business, so I guess how many employees do you have in your company?
So total right now, we're a complete subcontractor model. So no one in the field actually is our employee. They're all other independent contractors. So everyone for us is just office staff. And right now it's 5 of us. We will hire back to a 6th right now. So I ended up letting a sales guy go, but we'll replace him in the spring.
So you just outsource everything to subcontractors. And then how big of a geographic area do you cover? You mentioned you go into Montana for play.
I mean, one, we'll come anywhere for the right amount of money. I'm going to Montana for a different thing. I also coach contractors. And so I'm going out there to work on systems and helping someone implement everything so that they can run their company and go into growth mode. But as far as where we go here, about 90 minutes.
And as you've grown your business, so obviously you're helping people build systems. So what kind of systems do you put in place? If somebody's watching this and they're like, because I can tell you, I've been in real estate for a long time. I was in sales before this. I had my own business. You hear the term systems. There's all these generic terms you hear. And then people that are trying to figure it out are going, I've heard that 500 times before. What's the system? So can you break down kind of maybe some of the systems you're putting in place to help people manage their projects better and grow their business?
So first is managing leads, right? Sales is the heartbeat of every company. So first we hired a company to build out our Go High level. So as soon as a lead comes in, they get an automatic text message. We make sure we call them back. All of our communication is recorded so that we can always look back and see exactly what we promised someone, or I like to look back and see like personal things that they've talked about so that I can bring that up or maybe do a little gift about it, something like that. And then we can track our sales the whole way through until we sign a contract. That'd be system one. System two is project management software. So we use a software called JobTread. And that thing is as simple or as robust as you want to make it. So you can just do your contracts in there and you can just do your communication and show pictures to clients. They have an app for your phone. You can build out whole schedules. What we do is we have a system that we've put in place that we're a design build firm. 90% of our projects go through a design phase. We handle all of our communication in that. We put all of our files, all of our renderings, all our construction documents in there. And then once all the selections are made, clients decided on everything, then we send that out to bid for all of our subcontractors and our vendor partners. And they'll respond in our software with how much labor they want, what the materials cost if it's a material provider. And so the project lives in that software. So that's a big one. And then the third one is the follow-up, right? So we go back to Go High level. As soon as a project's moved to full, it's going to automatically ask you for a Google review. It's going to ask you every 3 days for 30 days. And then we try and give people gifts when we're done with projects, depending on the size of the project. It might be a cutting board. It might be, we've done some branded coolers. So those are the three big systems, is making sure that pre-production's nice, in production goes smoothly and is well documented. And then post-production, we're making sure we're following up, appreciating the clients.
Yeah, no, that was good explanation. Because I think, some people just get lost in the weeds. There's so many terminology out there. That's similar to what, even in real estate, we do the same type of thing. Use some software to follow those different systems in place to get your leads, work your leads, turn them into deals, and that follow-up at the end. So is that, do you manage that in-house, or do you have other people coming in? You have some virtual assistants working on that?
So the in-house team is me. My wife does all of the going on site, taking pictures. She enters the receipt. She's kind of my catch-all, handle everything that I don't like to, or she's just better at it. And then I have a project manager. And so everything that you need a physical presence for, we have physical people, but everything you don't, we use virtual assistants. And so I have an executive assistant who answers all my emails, checks all my emails, communicates with me about those. He manages my calendar. He answers the phones for us. So he basically is my buffer to the world. You can't get to me without going through him. And then we also have a virtual assistant who does all of our designs, our 3D renderings, construction documentation, material takeoff. He does all that as well.
What was the big pain point that made you decide it was time to outsource and go with a virtual assistant as opposed to somebody local that was actually in your office?
The biggest thing is pay, honestly. So I used SphereRocket to help people get VAs, and I was at a conference with my marketer, and I ran into the guy who runs SphereRocket, Justin Nelson, and I listened to him talk. And I had an in-house designer here. She made $65,000. For that amount of money, I could put together a team of 6 or 7 VAs. I could have someone for social media management, a video editor, a designer, an executive assistant. It just allows you to run a lot leaner, and so you can grow a lot faster. You're not putting so much of your money back into people.
Your number one benefit is cost savings. What would you say is one of the pain points as far as any issues you've had with having virtual assistants on the negative side?
Yeah, absolutely. One, it's just like any in-house person. The first hire is not always the right hire. So we've had to hire, let people go. But the other side of that is the biggest pain point probably is why I got so obsessed with systems, because we didn't have any when we hired our first virtual assistant. And it's really easy for someone who's setting one office over or in the same room or whatever to say, hey, how do I do this? It's a lot more difficult to explain in writing to someone who's halfway across the world. And so you have to systematize everything. And that was probably the biggest pain point, was someone saying, hey, how do you do this? Well, I know how to do it because I've done it for 20 years. But how do I explain it to a person that their culture works different? How they do construction honestly works different in America than a lot of places in the world. And so you have to systematize and you have to have rules for every step of the way.
Yeah, I've discovered the same thing, exactly. Things that you think would be common sense, but common sense is only as common as the shared experience that two people have. It's
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's I've run into that myself. So in building out these systems and these procedures, do you have other tools that you've used for that specifically?
Oh, yeah. I have a subscription to 3 of the big AIs, so ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok. I use all those to write. Sometimes I'll write with each one just to see how it comes up with better stuff. And I've really leaned on AI a lot. So I spend a lot of time driving, especially now that I'm running sales again for a little bit. And so I'll either drop voice notes to my assistant to if I have a task I need to do or I have something he needs to do, or I'll talk to ChatGPT a lot, honestly, and say, hey, what do you think about this? Give me your ideas on that. And now that they have the talk feature where he speaks back, it feels just like you're talking to like me and you are right now.
I've done the same thing. It's pretty incredible how far it's come along. I find it incredible and extremely powerful and equally terrifying at where it may be next year.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying right now between automation and AI that they think by 2030, someone will have the first $1 billion company with only one employee.
The one that worries me is the fact that they're talking about 30% unemployment in a couple of years. And you go, okay, who's buying houses? Who's having kitchens built in their backyard?
Well, you start to have a real conversation about what does a universal living wage look like, or some sort of, we're going to have a population problem if we can't work. And I think eventually you really do look at that scary side where unemployment's not 5 or 6%, it's 30.
Yeah, I've heard numbers from 30 to way higher than that. That doesn't sound appealing, whether it affected me directly or not. Just being in a society, because then the other side of it you look at is even if there's a minimum standard living wage, but what is then people's purpose in life? You don't have a purpose. I think there's examples around the world of places where that's happened because of extreme unemployment. Things don't look so pretty in those places.
No, it's a terrifying question, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think especially considering where we are as a society now and how much we're addicted to TikTok and all social media scroll, sensationalist news, people are incredibly quick to judge others, and we've lost a lot of the love and camaraderie, and it could go to a really dark place if we don't rediscover that.
Yeah, I agree. There's times when I just want to take the phone, throw it out the window, and hop on a plane to somewhere where I don't have to hear somebody.
I have 2.
Well, I'm only have one, and that's all I'm going to have. I'm going to stick with that.
Well, so I did that specifically because my personal one, almost no one has them.
Okay.
My work one shuts off at 6:00. I don't want to be a workaholic. I want to hang out with my kids.
Yeah. Well, because I'm in real estate, I have to take calls later, but I don't do very much after about 6:00 anyways. So that's putting limitations on it and using I have other phone numbers. They just route to this phone, but you can still shut them off.
My problem is if it routes, then I'll check it. I tried that first and I would just turn it back on. I'm just going to check real quick. So now I literally have a phone that goes somewhere else that I can't get to. If it's really bad and I'm struggling about something on my head, I'll give it to my wife and say, don't give this back to me.
I actually watched a video of somebody that actually had a lockbox that they could set a timer when it would open, and they literally put their phone in there. It's got a hole for a cord so it can stay charged, and they literally lock it in there for like 16 hours a day. And
I think that's awesome. I would love to do that.
Kidding. You got to get where the VA and the AI can do enough so that you can do that.
Well, we've got ours pretty much set. The only person in the company that takes calls after hours is my project manager. And that's because a lot of times, justifiably so, people have jobs. So they're not available to talk 8 to 5 when we're doing most of our work, but they have questions. They want to talk about, hey, I saw this. Maybe I want to change it. I want to add something. And so he has to be available for that. But we rewarded pretty well for working the extra hours. So
Well, that's good. That's good. Are you implementing any AI as far as like AI agents yet, where they're actually doing tasks in the background?
not yet. I have not gotten that far yet.
I've been experimenting with N8N. Familiar at all with that?
I've heard of it, but I haven't started training with it.
Yeah, I started doing a little bit, just getting into it, and got my VAs. More importantly, I have my VAs learning it. So that's the most
So I
important.
have my VA is learning it as well. They were saying, I don't remember if it was N8N or another one, but one of the AIs recoded Slack from scratch in like 30 hours.
Oh my.
And so that's what I was listening to on the AI topic is obviously things like ChatGPT for quick questions and what most people are using it for right now is powerful, but you can literally say, "Hey, let's walk through a roadmap of what I want this app to look like." It's smart enough to ask you all the questions and then you say, "Okay, go," and it will go code for 10, 20, 30, 100 hours and come back and then you can just walk through it and say, "No, I want to change this, I want to change that," and it'll do all the work for you.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have not played with that. I've looked at a couple of those. That's the problem is it's that shiny object syndrome is that there's so many of those things out there. On the other hand, it's changing so fast that you have to spend a certain amount of time staying up on what's changing.
Yeah, for sure.
So where do you see your business going as far as in the next, say, 5 years with assuming that virtual assistant AI doesn't take over the world, but as far as virtual assistants and AI in your business, where do you see the growth that bringing another AI on or installing some other AI that could fill in some blanks for you?
Definitely both. We'll have probably 5 VAs by this time next year. I want to dive into content because I do coach and I'm going to start working on that more. And because I do help other people get VAs, I need to work on my personal brand. Like I like shooting the content, but I hate video editing and doing all that stuff. So we'll bring someone on to do that. And then just as stuff scales, you just bring more and more on, right? Eventually my wife won't be able to keep up with receipts or she won't want to. We'll bring on a full-time bookkeeper. And then AI is really cool because we've even started using, I take that back. We have started using it because we'll take renderings that my designer uses and then we'll plug it in and say, "Hey, decorate it this way. Hey, decorate it that way. Make it fall with leaves and pumpkins or make it snowy." And so we can show our client not only what it looks like in the software that we use to design it, which is very limited on seasonality and displays and things like that, or it takes a lot of time to do it. Court, my wife, she took our last design and made like 9 different scenarios, all with different decorations, time of year, time of day. It took her like 20 minutes.
In real estate, we used to, I'm sure they still exist, but I'm not sure for how long, used to pay companies to do digital staging, put furniture in a room and all this for the photos. I think I paid $100 for do like 3 images. And now I can put on my phone with ChatGPT in 15 minutes. And
So I was at my uncle's lake house last weekend and he was talking about, he has a basement wall that's just concrete. And he was talking about adding doors and windows and covering it with stone. And so I was like, okay, we went outside while we're drinking coffee. I took a picture of it, drew a little bit and said, "Hey, put a door here that's this size, put a window here, cover it with a stone that looks like this." And in like 10 minutes, I got to show him exactly what that would look like.
I have a listing that is, it's painted this most disgusting color of green, and the seller's been on the market for a while. It's been really slow, and my clients basically were like, "We're going to paint the house." Well, okay, cool. So I took pictures of the house, and then I painted it with Sherwin-Williams colors, like 5 different colors in a video, and put it up on Facebook and said, "Hey, what color should this house be?" And then my VA took another listing I had and decorated it for Halloween, which, just add some variety and some spice to the, the content out there. So got a lot of traffic out of it. So it's so simple. So easy.
You can generate a ton of content now with AI.
So you figured probably 5 VAs by this time next year. And that's still staying in your same geographic area or just picking up more business there or growing a bigger area?
No, so actually long-term goal is I want to eventually open more locations. So we're in Springfield, Missouri. I want to go to Bentonville, Arkansas, eventually go to Kansas City, St. Louis, and then maybe like Tulsa. But yeah,
Okay.
so I dream really, really big. I have this number in the back of my head. I want to be worth $100 million. So to do that, you got to do a lot of work.
I like that. Well, you and Justin should get along just great.
We get along pretty well. Yeah.
He has big aspirations as well. He's doing a pretty good job.
He's quite a bit ahead of me already. So, and he's much younger. I think he's a decade younger than me still.
He's a couple decades younger than me. So I have dreams. They're not quite that big, but I have dreams of mine are more spending more time traveling and less time working.
Yeah. And that's eventually where I want it to go. I just don't know if I can. It's hard for me to slow down.
I've had ADHD all my life. I've always, until now, well, even now, I've always had it for years. I always had a job and I had a business. And now I just have a couple businesses and a couple nonprofits. So it keeps me
just a couple of each.
Yeah. Work on a even half dozen coming up. So
do you remember what a 40-hour work week feels like?
No, it's been a very long time. I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
No, people are always telling me you need to sleep more. And I'm like, wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm wide awake and I'm ready to go. So I get up and go.
Yeah, I'm a 4:30 guy. I feel you.
I'd like to get back to 4 was a better time. I used to be a 4 o'clock guy. Last few weeks, it's been 3. Time's a wasted.
You got a lot going on. Your brain's running.
I got stuff to do and you got stuff to do. So, what else is there about your business that you like to talk about that, people might find interesting? So, I mean, you said you have built wood-fired pizza ovens, or you installed them, I presume, not actually build them, or you build brick ovens?
So we actually built one with a mason. We designed and built one, but most of the time, I'd say 90%. Outdoor living's fun. Don't get me wrong. What I've been really excited about lately is helping people and coaching other contractors. So many guys, especially since I found VAs, like so many guys that I talk to are in that like $300,000, $1 million a year revenue. Well, if you call it 400, it's really hard to bring on. Even a basic admin these days is $45,000. And so you tell them, hey, you're going to bring that on, you're going to spend $4,000 a month on these people. And they're like, I can't do that. But if I say, hey, for $1,500 a month, we can get you a full-time VA, that now becomes super cool. And then we work and we train and we help put systems in for them. And we watch people go from, $500,000 to $2 million in 18 months. We've watched people go from being the guy who's doing estimates at 11 o'clock at night and not getting sleep to actually only working 40 hours. And that's really cool for me because, I think once you learn how, everyone would agree, once you learn how to make money, it's really not that hard. So then you get to just do what you love the most that still makes money. And so if I can help people get out of the thing that I fought for so long, that's where my pride and joy goes.
There's a part of that learning curve as a small business person. There's the book, The E-Myth. It talks about you get stuck in, they're the tradesperson that thinks they know it better, but they're not the salesperson or the administrator. And so they don't see the big picture. And you can only do so much and grow a business so far when you're just the guy out there swinging the hammer, building stuff. And, you bring on a couple of employees and then you just become, without having those systems in place and personnel to manage it, and you just hit a wall.
Yeah. Well, and especially in construction, I would guess a very large percentage of startup construction companies are people who just work for someone else. And maybe they saw their boss buy a new truck every year, or, they saw the guy who just drives around to job sites and checks on stuff. And they thought, oh man, I'm making, $20, $25 an hour. Why can't I go do that and have a new $70,000, $80,000 truck every year? And then they start to do it. And they're like, when my phone actually starts ringing and I had 20 people call me all waiting for numbers this week, and I have to talk to them and sell them. And then I have to order the materials and I have to pull the permits and I have to do the construction documents. And it really quickly becomes 4 or 5 people a full-time job that you signed up for not knowing. And so, you might go from making $50K a year to 100 or 150K a year, but your hourly probably went down at the beginning.
Well, and that's the gross revenue. You're still, what do you, if you're doing all that work or you're paying somebody a lot of money, and actually what you net. And it's the same thing in real estate. Is people start off, doing okay, and they grow and they grow. And if you don't build systems and bring people in to help run that, you get up at 4 a.m. and you go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and you never stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing that any business, not just contractors, needs is eventually, if you want to build the business big enough to exit and sell it, then the owner can't be responsible for more than 20% of the day-to-day activities. And if you want people to do it your way, once you found a little bit of success, your way works, then you need to have systems to teach them and processes to teach them so that they can replicate it. And from my point of view, I want every client to get the same level of service and attention every time. so that if I go work for you, if I go do a project for you, and then I go do one for your neighbor, both of you think, man, this guy just killed it on customer service.
Yeah, and that's good communication. But yeah, having it systemized so you're doing the same thing each and every time.
Yeah, I mean, just something as little as, hey, we got an update every day from our project manager over the course of 6 weeks while we finished a project. Like that is going to set you apart from so many contractors. Or you, every time you have a new showing, letting a client know rather than just, oh yeah, I showed it to 7 people last week. How did you not know? Well, because I don't track your phone, so I don't know when you're at my house.
Right. And that's something we see a lot in real estate. And I know for personal experience with contractors, like my core group of contractors that I refer to people are specifically because they're very good at communicating. That's the number one. They all know how to swing a hammer, and most of them will get the job done. Showing up on time, good communication are the leading, most, I think to me, that's like the most important part. And same thing, yeah, like in real estate, yeah,
Do
I
we
know a lot
still get
that don't communicate. Like every single week, I send an email to every one of my list. It's how many showings we had, how many, if we got any offers, what else is going on the market, what other homes, that you're competing against, how many came on the market, how many sold, how many have been pending, how long have they been on the market? So yeah, it's that constant communication.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally missed a call and called someone back 10 minutes later and they said, oh, don't worry about it. I already hired someone. Time kills deals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Speed to lead. How fast you get back to them definitely matters. Yep. So in conclusion, you've really grown this business and you keep growing it. And well, we got virtual assistants, you got some AI in there. It sounds like you got some great systems in place. So I think you got some great success ahead of you as you can continue to grow and expand and share what you're doing in the process of coaching other people.
I hope so, man. I love what I do. And one of the things that I really always kind of sat with me was bringing respect back to the trades. And so, like you said, all the guys that you have in your almost every contractor can get the job done. And a lot of guys will do it with a pretty good level of quality, but can they make it so that you're an equal in society? For so long, and we still struggle with this. It's hard to find people to do the work because our society pushed everybody to college, go to college, go to college, go to college. You can go make great money in the trades, really great money.
Absolutely. In my experience in construction, I spent 15 years working in heavy industry and steel mills and refineries. And even there, people not communicate. It was unbelievable. I ended up running a crew of 50 people, and it wasn't because I was that much more of a brilliant than anybody else. It was that I showed up on time. I did what I was supposed to do, and I communicated well with people. And so I went from, and then in the same time frame, people that I started with, 15 years later were still just workers because they couldn't communicate. They couldn't show up on time. They couldn't, they would show up, but yeah, you got to be able to do that. Communication is massive. You say you're going to do something?
I think communication is the key to life, man.
Absolutely. And you obviously have a great attitude and you're, a positive person, which that goes so far. I mean, uh, I actually choose not to work with people that are not positive. If you're one of those people that everything in the world is going wrong in your life, then I'm going to help you find another real estate agent to help you sell your house, because I just don't want that in my life, because life is too short
Absolutely.
to be around people that are negative all the time.
And I still struggle with it. I mean, I think everybody has bad days, but like I had one yesterday and I literally text my wife and I was like, I'm just in a bad mood today. And she's like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to just like sit and take some time and find some gratitude and intentionally do that. And then I went and worked out. And by the end, I was in a good mood again.
Absolutely. Well, see, you're smart enough to know to have some gratitude. I actually do as a part of my marketing. Actually, I do what's called a mindful Monday. Every Monday, I do a video that's about gratitude, affirmations, meditating, thinking about the positive things in life. In fact, currently, you might get a kick out of this. A friend of mine wrote this book.
Well, that's cool.
And he actually put it out during COVID. And actually, when I worked in the refineries and stuff, he was my boss. And I forgot how many are in here, but there's like 60 different virtues: authenticity, confidence. But it's just things that in our society seem to be lacking. So I'm currently my Monday Mindful Monday videos. I'm doing something about each of these. And of course, I use ChatGPT. I take a picture of the page in there and then tell it to write me something original. So I'm not just pulling the text out of the book, which I'm sure Art would be just fine if I did that, but it makes it a little more original, makes it something unique. But I think putting that positivity out in the world and into the people that follow us on social media, a good chunk of our people that were involved in our lives, it reflects back on you on what kind of a person you are and you attract the people that you are like. All right.
Yeah, if you're a negative person all the time, you're going to attract a bunch of people like that.
Yeah. I refuse. This isn't happening anymore. Nope.
So I've actually got a buddy who lives in just north of Seattle. Can't remember what county, but he within driving distance of Puget Sound, and he's got a boat there, and I'll actually be there this summer. So maybe I'll come see you.
Okay. Yeah. I live in the small town of LaConner, which is a little waterfront town.
Okay.
I think the city itself is like 900 people, but we're within 30 minutes of 4 cities that are 25 to 30,000. It's kind of.
Yeah, it's one of those weird names where Chris lives.
Anacortes?
So he lives in Monroe, so I'm thinking of someone else.
Oh, yeah, that's down south of me, about 40 minutes away, something like that, maybe an hour.
Yes. So he owns Northwest Moss Removal. So if you ever need moss removed, let me know. I'll get you a hookup.
All right, we'll do that. So, hey, Chris, if people are interested in either having some outdoor yard work done and build a nice big outdoor kitchen, or if they are a contractor that's looking to put some systems in place and figure out how they can, grow their business, how would people get a hold of you?
So for construction, Olympus Outdoors, it's olympus-outdoors.com. You can find me on Facebook, Chris Treese. You can find me on Instagram. And then I guess since you're asking, this will be when I announce it, but we are officially launching Delta Consulting next week. We just got the domain Consult with Delta, so that should go live in the next week or two. And that'll have all of our packages. Most of what we do is work one-on-one, solving your specific problems. And you can reach me there or just find me on social media. Happy to help.
All right. Well, I'm sure you'll get a little bit of outreach from this and look forward to talking to you and see how everything goes as you grow.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate it.
So that's another wrap on this episode of the TimeHack Agent Podcast. Here is the thing, though. You've just spent the last 20 or so minutes learning how to work smarter and not harder. But knowledge without action is just a form of entertainment. So my challenge to you is, what one task are you going to automate or delegate in the next 7 days? I want to hear about it. Let me know. Send me something. Put a comment down there. Because here's the truth. Time is limited. It's your most valuable asset. You can't buy it back. When it's gone, it's gone. If you want to know what it feels like to grow and have time for strategy and friends and family, go ahead and take your browser right over to TimeHack V, where you can schedule a discover call with our partners, Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants. Sphere Rocket has placed over 10,000 VAs with business owners across the country and around the world. And they will show you how they work and how they can find the right VA for you and your business. So go to timehackva.com and schedule that appointment, and you will not be disappointed. Start buying back some of your time. See what you can do with an extra 10, 20, 30 hours a week with your life and your business and how that can make a difference. All right, don't wait. Visit timehackva.com. So until next time, keep hacking your time, not your sanity.